What is up, everybody? Jason, aka Jester, and today we're going to go back to one of my very first food videos that we did for this channel, and that's going to be ribs. Today we're going to be doing baby backs, and I know this is going to sound a little cocky, but I would put these ribs against anybody in the world's ribs, and I can teach you guys how to do it at home for an absolute fraction of the cost of what it would take to go out and get a rack of these things. Let me get everything all set up, and I'll bring you right back in and show you how everything is done. So the first thing that I like to do after getting them all out of the plastic is we need to remove this nice membrane here, because that's going to make it a little more chewy when you're trying to bite through. What I've found is a butter knife works really, really well in this particular situation. You come in and you try not to go all the way to the bone, but you pull up this little membrane and just keep working it back little bits at a time until you get a nice tag pulled up. From there, take a paper towel, you're going to grab it, and then we're just going to peel that, and then peel it all the way down. That's going to give you that nice bite through, and you're not going to get that chewiness that you would get if that was on there. Well, I've got 3 of these today, so let me get all the rest of them done, and then I will show you the next step. Now with ribs, there's a ton of room for debate as to how it should be seasoned. I'm going to be using that Woody's rub, and come hell or high water, I'm going to find a link in the description so you guys can try this for yourself. For my money, this is the best all-around rub I can find anywhere. What I like to do with ribs is I like to put a really light coating on the front side where we pull that membrane of our rub. Nothing too spectacular, nothing too cakey. And then we're going to turn that over. The next thing I like to do is take myself some mustard, and we're going to just sprinkle a little bit of that on there. This is basically just a binder to kind of help keep the rub on. It does add a little bit of flavor, but it's not too awful much. We're just going to rub that in nice and evenly. And then from there, I'm going to want to take a really nice coating of my rub. Something about like so. That's ready for the smoker. And speaking of the smoker, I am going to be using the Traeger pellet fed today. We're going to go for 2.5 hours on just the smoke setting. That's the one big problem I have with the Traeger is unless you've got the high heat pellets, you don't get the smoke into the meat as much as you do if you just run it on the smoke setting. So about 2 to 2.5 hours, probably closer to 2.5 for the smoke. And then we're going to go ahead and bring them up to 250. I expect they're going to take another 2 or 3 hours behind that. We're probably going to wrap them up at the end, but I will show you guys wrapping it up here in just a minute. So now that we've got the 2.5 hour smoke and about 2 hours at 250 on these, it's time that I like to go ahead and put them in the wrap. Now, not everybody does a wrap, and you don't necessarily have to use a wrap on these. I think the bigger the smoker that you're using and the higher the temperature, the more consistent the temperature, the less you really need it. For me, I'm just trying to get a couple of racks done, so I want to create this little mini oven with this foil here. Just hold that heat in and get that really tough stuff to kind of break down, especially near the bone, because that's how you really get a nice bite through rib. All you really want to do is I'm going to take them, I'm going to put them curved side up, and then we're just going to wrap them up. Pretty simple and basic. Just like so, and they go back in. I'm going to get these other ones done, and then I'll be back to show you one more little trick before I show you the big reveal. Alrighty, boys and girls, we're starting to run out of daylight here, and it's getting on to be dinner time, and these are done. And let me tell you how I know this. I don't do these like a lot of people would tell you to do, where you take it to a certain temperature, and that's going to give you the bite every time. What I'm looking for is when I come in on about the 3rd or the 4th bone, I want to see that bone wiggle. That tells me that all the little sinew and stuff that's around the bone, connecting it to the meat, is good. Obviously, if this bone pulls right out, then you're going to have absolute fall off the rib bones. That's going to be a little far for what I like. I like there to be just a little resistance. But as you can see, that bone's wiggling around. Let me get that turned back over. I'm going to put a little sauce on them, and then I'm going to let that tack up. I'll see you on the table in just a minute. So now that our sauce is solidified, what we want to do is we want to go and cut right into them. What I like to do is cut them upside down. That way I don't ruin the nice coating that we've got for the sauce. What you need to do, though, is kind of put your fingers on the outside and cut right in between the bones. Get those bones cut nice and clean. Something about like so. And when all is said and done, you get ribs that look like that. Really nice smoke ring, nice and juicy. And let's just go ahead and have a little bite here. The baby backs are tougher because, especially the ones that have the extra meat on them, that's all meat off the loin. So they take a little bit longer. Let's go ahead and give that a bite. Oh, it's coming right off. But there is just a little resistance to it. Man, that's wonderful. Yeah, obviously I'm gonna go inside and chow down. And look, guys, now that the Thanksgiving holiday is over, this is a perfect time to be out and doing smoked food. The weather is not super cold yet, and it's just a good time to be outside. And you can sit with your smoker and just enjoy it. Maybe have a adult beverage if you are of age. Hopefully you guys like this kind of stuff, because I love doing ribs and I love doing smoked foods. And if you do, think about subscribing and maybe like the video. Till next time, guys, thanks for watching. Bye.